You can support this channel by checking out the awesome deals on wrestling gear in the links of the description of this video. Thank you for the support. Hey, what's up, guys? Thank you so much for tuning in to the Fair Fight Wrestling Podcast. My name is Theron, and thank you for tuning into the weekly Poll on a Poll. And what is Poll on a Poll? Well, every Monday and Tuesday night while you're watching Raw and Smackdown, use those hashtags Raw and SD Live, and you can follow us at Fair Fight Audio on Twitter, and I'm going to throw up poll topics every week. You can participate in those polls, and then we talk about the results right here on this channel. So it's important for you to subscribe to this channel if you want to make sure you are notified every time our poll results come out. This week, we want to talk about who should join the Wyatt family. Or should I say, who should reform the Wyatt family, as we have been completely disbanded in the past year. Guys, I'll be honest with you, I'm not liking the direction that Bray Wyatt's going into. I think that there has been a really big disconnect as to what his character is and what they're turning him into. When he started out, he was a cult leader. He was that, for lack of a better example, he was the Charles Manson, right? He was that quiet, silent killer who had his followers, right? Who blindly followed him no matter what. And that was the intriguing character, right? That's what caught our attention in the same way that Jake Roberts did, where he was slow to speak. He drew you in, you had to pay attention to every word he said, and he was so different. Now, all of a sudden, all of his followers are gone, right? He doesn't have anybody surrounding him as his cult, his family, obviously. And now, all of a sudden, all you have is this guy whose in-ring ability is amazing, but he's starting to sound like the Ultimate Warrior. Not to be disrespectful, but you remember all those promos of the Warrior where you just stopped listening. He just talked and talked and talked about nonsensical stuff that you didn't need to retain. It wasn't any story development. Yeah, it's interesting. It's fairly well scripted, but when it's every single week, man, when Bray Wyatt is talking, unfortunately, I've been trained and conditioned to not pay attention, because no matter what he says, it's just this crazy, supernatural, complete different turn from what his character originally was. And I know that I can zone out, check my Twitter feed, get up, get myself something to drink, and 2 minutes later we're going to come back and he's still going to be talking. So, and not to be disrespectful to Bray Wyatt, because I am a huge Bray Wyatt fan, but what I think he needs is, I think he needs his family back. And how do you do that? You need new family members. So our poll options for the new Bray Wyatt family follower were Bo Dallas, the Drifter Elias Sampson, Sanity from over at NXT, and Finn Balor. Now, Bo Dallas won this poll with 44% of your vote, followed by a tie between the Drifter and Sanity at 22%, and then Finn at the very bottom at 11%. Now, Bo Dallas is one of the most obvious choices. Obviously, they are real brothers in real life, so that story tells itself. But look at Bo's new look. Oh, I wish he would have done that a year ago. I think the Miz Taraz is a good position for him to be in right now. At least he's getting some airtime. At least he's getting back into the scene. But man, what an awesome turn that would be for him to take that look and submit himself over to his brother and join the Wyatt family. I think Elias Sampson would be another kind of guy who Bray Wyatt can be kind of stalking every once in a while. There's a lot of story to be told about the Drifter and where he drifted off to. Maybe he drifts over to the compound one day, even though they've kind of taken that Drifter persona away a little bit, in my opinion. They've turned him into a wrestler here recently, but there's a lot that can be told there story-wise with the Drifter, his personality kind of gravitating towards the leader of Bray Wyatt. Sanity makes a huge amount of sense. I had this vision of an enormous Wyatt family back when Bray Wyatt won the championship at Elimination Chamber. I had this vision of Luke Harper and Eric Rowan and maybe even Braun Strowman, and then Sanity coming out to join the Wyatt family, and they all were kind of crawling around the Elimination Chamber like a bunch of gargoyles, protecting him and making sure he won that championship, and then make sure he retained that championship, and have this huge flock of guys who protected their leader, right? The guy who was going to take them to this promised land. So I think Sanity makes a whole lot of sense. And then you have this amazing story of this inner turmoil between Eric Young and Bray Wyatt as these two leaders who start butting heads. Very slowly you start to see this contention, kind of like the Kenny Omega and Cody Rhodes kind of a thing, or the Kenny Omega and Adam Cole kind of mentality of who really is the leader. And so, gosh, I love stories like that, and I think that would be an amazing way to bring up Sanity onto the main roster. Finn Balor is kind of that wild card, right? Because we're going to do a fantasy booking episode next week talking about who should take a heel turn. And I think the Finn Balor character of the Demon, we're going to see him take on Bray Wyatt most likely at SummerSlam. And what a cool story that would be, that after Bray Wyatt maybe supposedly slays the Demon, he has control over the Demons. So guys, I'm huge into stories, and I think a lot of these stories are laid out right in front of our eyes if we just take the time, or excuse me, if the creative team would just take the time to look at that and try something new for once. But hey, that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think. Throw some comments down below. Who do you want to see join the Wyatt family? Throw out some fantasy booking stories. I love reading that kind of stuff. I love hearing what you guys think. I appreciate you tuning into this today. Hit that thumbs up button. Hit subscribe if you would be so kind. Thanks again, guys, for tuning in, and we will chat again soon.